Guys, how are you? I hope you are all fine, and I hope that you have enjoyed the other videos on this instrument series. Um, I had some good reviews, and I'm already seeing some changes on the flights and when people appear for simulators or flights, and I'm very happy. I think I've made a positive change because the level of preparation has been increasing a lot. So thank you for watching the videos, and thank you for coming better prepared for the flights. It's better for you, it's better for me, it's better for aviation, so it's better for everyone. Nice. And so today I'm here to talk about the next topic, which is holding procedures, and I want to talk about VOR holdings today. And as usual, I'm going to show you where the information is, official information, which is basically on ICAO document 8168. This is like the Bible for instruments. So if you're going for instruments, or if you're during your instruments formation, or even if you never seen it and you are IR rated or something, you should see this. This is where everything is. It has 3 volumes, but for us we only use volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 and volume 3. So guys, for us, volume 1 and volume 3. Okay, so with no more delay, let's go to my usual friend Paint, and we're gonna speak a little bit about VOR holdings. And well, guys, the first thing, what's a hold? Basically, a holding procedure, it's a procedure that is used to 2 purposes, or even 3 purposes, which is well, first of all, holds. Imagine that the ATC needs you to hold to organize traffic. They'll send you to hold, basically to maintain a certain position while not entering in conflict with other traffic. It can also be on the initial approach fix or intermediate fix, and it can be used to align yourself with runway. You'll see it how later. And it can also be used to descend while you are holding. Okay, you are at a certain hold and you can use it to descend. It's called a shuttle. Okay. Well, with this said, what's basically a holding? Well, a holding is divided into 4 parts, which is basically an inbound leg, 180 turn, an outbound leg, and another 180 turn. Your inbound leg has guidance. Okay, so let me put a brush here. So basically your VOR is here, and you have here a radial. Okay, so basically you follow this radial towards the station. Once you are over at the station, you're going to turn right to the opposite track. Okay, imagine that you were following here course 270. Here you're going to turn right track 090. Here you are not following any radial, only a track. If you have a track indicator, if you don't have a track indicator, if you only have a heading, you'll be following a heading. That's it. You can do your own wind correction, but you don't know for sure if you're doing exactly this, right? And well, basically, to resume, so radial, you follow the radial, you reach over at the station, you turn right. When you are a beam or wings leveled, whichever comes later, you launch time. Okay, and after 1 minute, you should be here at the end of the outbound leg. And after this minute, you're going to turn right to intercept the radial inbound. I'm going to add something that it's not written here, and I'm going to tell you. At the end of the outbound leg, okay, outbound leg, the radial that passes here geometrically is 30 degrees displaced from your inbound radial. So if your inbound radial is 090, okay, sorry guys, if this is radial 090, this one here, the orange one, the green one will be radial 060. Geometrically speaking, this is what happened. Now guys, don't forget that this holds, it's 1 minute inbound, okay, 1 minute turn, 1 minute outbound, 1 minute turn. Because this leg it's below 14,000 feet, above 14,000 feet it's 1 minute and a half. Okay, so the inbound leg it's going to be 1 minute and a half. Turn, this turn it's going to be 1 minute, of course, because it's a standard turn. All right, and when you're a beam you're going to keep going, and when you're a beam you're going to launch time, and after 1 minute and a half you're going to reach the end of the outbound. In this case, if it's 1 minute and a half, it's not going to be this same radial, okay, displaced by 30 degrees. It's going to be obviously one radial that has a minor displacement. Okay, why? Because you're gonna extend, the outbound, right? If it's 1 minute and a half, it's gonna be something like this. Sorry about this banana turn, but yeah, it's gonna make your outbound leg longer. So this just to say that this radial only applies, and it's a cross check that you can do at the end of the outbound leg if you are doing 1 minute holding patterns. All right, with this said, I put this here due to usual mistakes of my students. Okay, when you are on the inbound leg, you're following a radial, you pass overhead the station and you turn 180 degrees to an outbound track. Okay, here I'm following track. Here I have lateral guidance, and here I don't have lateral guidance. All right. With this said, we have right turn holding patterns, which basically you're following the radial, you pass overhead the VOR, you turn by the right. Okay, you reach the end of the outbound, you turn by the right. If you are doing left turn holding patterns, you're gonna reach the VOR, turn left towards the outbound, and at the end of the outbound you're gonna turn by the left again. So it's not very difficult to understand, right? Right turns on the right turn holding patterns, left turns on the left turn holding patterns. We can also call it standard turns, standard holding patterns here, and non-standard on the left ones. All right. Okay. Now, this is basically easy. So for you that if you already are in an advanced part of your instruments and you already know how to intercept radials and how to interpret the HSI, this is ridiculously easy. Following a radial, passing overhead the station, turning left 180 degrees, standard turn, following a track or heading, and after 1 minute, turn left to intercept a radial. Well, this should be really easy for you by now. The difficulty is that most of the times we don't just spawn or we don't just appear in the middle of the holding. So we arrive at the holding via a certain radial. Okay, so imagine that. Sorry guys. Imagine that the VOR is here at the it's the fix of the holding. So this is the VOR, and you're gonna reach the VOR by many different radials, okay? And basically you can come from here, from here, from here. So how do we enter the holding if we come from another place. Okay, so that's not inside of the holding, because imagine that I'm coming from here. It doesn't make much sense to arrive to the station and then what? I'm gonna turn left, so I'm gonna have to turn left. Okay, and this is gonna be kind of weird, and then I'm gonna do this, and this is going to be my holding. Okay, so this is not what we do. We have ways of entering a holding pattern. All right, let's see what they are. Okay guys, so imagine that this is the hold. Okay, we have 3 different ways of entering a hold. Okay, we have offset, parallel, and direct. Okay, this is a standard holding pattern or right turn holding pattern, and the sectors, these are called entry sectors. Okay, there are 3 of them, as I said, and the entry sectors are distributed the following way. The offset one, it's from the radial opposite to the inbound radial, plus 70 degrees towards the non-holding side, and this is the offset. Okay, so imagine that this is 360. From 360 to 290, that's gonna be offset entry. We'll see what it is later, the offset entry. Parallel, it's gonna be from the radial opposite to the inbound radial of the hold, plus 110 degrees towards the holding side. Okay, this, it's gonna be the holding side, and this is gonna be the non-holding side. And the parallel entry sector, it's 110 degrees from the radial opposite to the inbound radial towards the holding side. Okay, and the other sector that remains with 180 degrees, it's called the direct entry sector. Why do we need to know this? Because if you're arriving from the parallel, if you're arriving from the parallel entry sector, you're gonna have to do a certain kind of entrance. If you are entering from the offset sector, you're gonna have to do another kind of holding entry. Okay, and if you're coming from direct sector, for instance here, you're gonna have to do a certain type of entry which is different from offset and from parallel. All right, let's know what to do if we are offset, parallel, or direct sectors. Okay, so first of all, let's start with offset sector. If I'm reaching the VOR via the offset entry sector, what I need to do is imagine that I'm arriving from this radial. Alright, I am an aircraft here, so this is my aircraft. What do I do? Basically, okay, I'm gonna proceed directly towards the station. When I'm at the station, I'm gonna launch time. When I'm in the cone of silence, I'm gonna launch time, and I'm gonna follow a track that makes 30 degrees with the inbound radial towards the holding side. Okay, a track that makes 30 degrees with the inbound radial towards the holding side, which means that if this is right here 180, I'm gonna follow track 150, because 180 less 30, it's 150. Okay, so I'm gonna reach the station, lunchtime, follow track 150, and after 1 minute I should be approximately in the end of the outbound segment. Okay, and at this point, at the end of 1 minute, I'm gonna turn right to intercept the radial inbound. Okay, and I'm gonna follow the radial inbound, and now I am inside the hold and I can do the holding pattern. Okay, and this is how to do a offset entry on a holding. Okay, you pass over at the station, lunchtime, do 30 degrees towards the holding side, starting on the radial. Okay, on the inbound radial, you're going to follow it, and after 1 minute you're going to turn right to intercept that same radial inbound. All right, this is like a base turn. Okay, so I don't know if you already know what the base turn is, but this is like a base turn. Now, if we come from the parallel sector, okay, let's say that I'm arriving from here, for instance. Okay, so I'm basically an aircraft arriving on this radial, okay, and what I need to do in a parallel entry is to basically proceed towards the station, and when you reach the station, lunchtime, and after this you're gonna turn left to follow track, the same as the outbound. You're gonna follow the outbound track. Okay, let's say if this is radial 180, right, this is also gonna be this track, it's also gonna be track 180. Okay, the radial of a certain holding is always the same as the track of the outbound leg. Why? Because radial radiates from the VOR towards from the VOR, it radiates away from the VOR, so in this direction, and the track the same in this direction. So if this is radial 180, this is going to be track 180. Okay, if you are having trouble to understand this type of concepts, please check the HSI video. Okay, HSI interception video. So sorry guys, I got lost here. So I'm arriving from this radial and I am going towards the station. When I reach the station, I'm going to lunchtime and turn towards the outbound track, and after 1 minute I'm going to turn left, and now I have two choices. Either I go left direct to the station, or I am going to turn left until I intercept radial inbound and follow towards the station after reaching radial inbound. Okay, this is an option. You can either do one or the other. It's up to you. Both of them are on document 8168, so you can do both. And well, in both of the situations, as soon as you reach the VOR, you are ready to perform the holding pattern. Okay, and this is it. This is the parallel entry. So coming from the parallel sector, arriving from a radial, reach the VOR, turn left towards the outbound track. After 1 minute, you're going to turn left again to intercept the radial or to proceed direct to the station. Whatever suits you best. Now, direct entry. Direct entry, it's basically this big sector, right? And what does document 8168 says about direct entry? Well, basically it says wherever you're coming from, if you're inside direct entry sector, you just do the holding as if you were aligned with the radial. And this can be tricky. Why? Because you're gonna quickly come to the conclusion that these guys here that come from these radials are not gonna have a very standard holding, right? So let's say the green guy, green aircraft is gonna come here, it's gonna turn. What do you do when you do the holding? You're gonna, supposedly you come here and you turn right towards the outbound track. So this is what this guy's gonna do. Okay, he's gonna turn right towards the outbound track, and he's gonna count 1 minute. So okay, 1 minute it is, and then he's gonna turn right to intercept the radial inbound, and this is his holding. So this green holding, it's not like the black one, right? But this is what document 8168 wants you to do, right? And if you're coming from this blue radial, what it's gonna happen? Well, you're gonna turn here and you're gonna start your turn, and your turn, it's gonna be something like this, okay? And okay, so now you're a beam, you're gonna launch time, and you're going to keep going, and after 1 minute you're gonna turn, but you have to extend your turn a little bit to match this, to match the radial. So this is your first holding pattern, okay? And so neither the green nor the blue one are very similar to the black one, which is the standard holding, but this is what we are supposed to do. Of course, if we come from a more, let's say, normal radial, okay, so a radial that it's closer to the inbound radial, so these guys are gonna have a much more let's say facilitated holding, right? It's almost the same as the black one, okay, so which is the standard here depicted. So this is direct entry. Direct entry is basically reach the VOR and do the hold as if you have arrived aligned with the radial. So you're going to turn right to the outbound track and so on, so on, so on. So now you know how to enter direct, parallel, and offset. Now, what if you reach the VOR from a radial that's in the middle of the sectors? In this case, you have 5 degrees each side of the limiting radial, okay? On the limit of the sector, you have 5 degrees each side where you can choose. Where you can choose your entry sector, okay? You can choose between the two that are holding the limit. Like in this case, you are between offset and parallel sector, so you can choose between offset and parallel. If you're arriving from this radial here, you're between parallel and direct, so you can choose, okay? If you're coming from this radial here, you can choose between offset and direct, all right? And basically that's it. So now we know how we enter the holding. You need to know it by heart, okay? To be able to perform a holding pattern, you need to know it by heart. After knowing this by heart, what we're going to do is to first of all, we're going to discover very quickly what's the holding entry really fast, okay? And how do we do that? Let's say that this is the HSI. I'm assuming that you already know how to interpret this. So VOR at the middle, okay, and you are somewhere here, all right? And what we're gonna do to realize, okay, now what do I need to do to know what's the holding entry? Do I need to draw a holding here? No, we're gonna do it in a much easier way. Okay, so we're gonna put our, if it's a standard hold, a right turn hold, we're gonna put our right hand with the index finger over the course selector, okay, and we'll have our sectors depicted for us, and the sectors have exactly the same degrees: offset 70 degrees, parallel 110, direct 180. Okay, so from course selector, so how do we know by our hand what sector is it? So this one is the smaller sector, so it's got to be offset. This one here, it's the intermediate one, so it's got to be parallel, and this one is the big one, so it's got to be direct, right? Because offset is 30 degrees, this one is 110, and this one is 180. So 110, 70, 180. This is parallel, this is offset, this is direct. But what does this mean? We are arriving here, the VOR, which is here, okay, on this radial. So now, depending on the holding that they give us, we will know if it's direct, parallel, or offset. If, for instance, they tell me, okay, you got to do a holding on a standard holding or a right turn holding on radial 030. Radial 030, it's on this sector, so it's going to be offset. If they tell me you need to do a standard holding pattern or a right turn holding pattern, it's the same. On radial 330, it means that it's in this sector, it's parallel. Last but not least, if I need to do a standard holding pattern on radial 150, it's gonna be on the direct sector, so I'll have to do a direct entry on the holding pattern. Okay, so this is like this, and we can know the answer to what type of entry are you gonna do really quick after we practice a little bit. Okay, it's just putting our hand over the instrument, index finger over the course selector. The course selector is this yellow needle. You should already know this, and well, you'll know instantly what's the entry. What about if it's a left turn or a non-standard holding pattern? We're gonna use our left hand. So instead of this line being tipping like this, it's gonna be tipping the other side. Okay, it's the inclination. Instead of the 70 degrees offset being to the right here, it's gonna be to the left. All right. Basically, it's the laterally symmetrical. Okay, and that's it. Same thing. You put the left hand. You can discover which sectors are now depending on the radial of the holds. It's gonna be offset, parallel, or direct. All right. So now that we know this, let's go here to Luigi montage simulators and let's see how we can do this on the instrument. So guys, let's say that we are here, we are on we are currently, let me take a snap of this new one. So guys, as usual, let's interpret the HSI. So we basically have the VOR at the center. We are an aircraft that is here, and now this is the final part. Okay, let's say that we they tell us, okay, you're gonna do a standard turn, so standard, so right turns, okay, on radial 030. Means that the VOR is here and the holding is gonna be on this radial. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my hand over the instrument, and immediately I'm gonna understand that these are, whoa, sorry, these, I thought this was a line like in paint. It's not. Well, so these are the sectors, okay? Offset, parallel, and direct, okay? I'm here, they told me radial 030, so this is offset. Okay, it's an offset entry. So now that I know that it's an offset entry, how am I going to imagine this? First of all, I need to draw my holding on the instrument, or imagine it. Okay, so I'm coming on radial 030. When I reach the station, it's going to be right turn, so I'm going to turn right towards track 030, and after 1 minute I'm going to turn right again towards the inbound radial, and this is my holding. So this is why I entry offset. Look here, now it makes sense, because I'm going to arrive to the station, and when I arrive to the station I'm going to turn left, so actually not left, 360, I'm going to maintain 360, okay, and I'm going to end up on the end of the outbound leg, okay, because it's 30 degrees towards the holding side, okay. So 360, I'm going to maintain 360, and after 1 minute I'm going to turn right to intercept the radial inbound and do the holding pattern. Okay, let's take a look of how do we do this. Here I'm gonna take this out of pause. Is it working? Let me do. Okay, it's working. Okay, so now I'm on radial 180. I'm proceeding towards the station, and basically the holding it's like this. So this is radial 030 towards the station, and then to the right, and this is my holding. Okay, we need to be able to draw this with our finger in the instrument in the beginning to do this. And what am I going to do? This is our holding, and what I'm going to do is I'm coming from here, and I'm going to maintain 360, which is 30 degrees towards the holding side, and I'm going to turn right to intercept 030 inbound and do the holding. Okay, now what's the part that I'm at? Pause. Let's see if it's paused. Yeah, it's paused. Right now, this is the VOR. I am here. The VOR is in front of me, so I'm going towards the VOR, and the holding, once again, it's going to be on radial 030, touching the station, turning right, and after 1 minute like this. Okay, so now what my stage is, I'm going towards the station. Okay, my next step, it's going to be just maintain 360 and turning by the right after 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to take it out of pause. Let me just, I'm just want to see at what distance I am at. Okay, I'm 6 nautical miles. It's gonna take too long. Okay, I'm gonna put us a little bit closer. Okay, good. Okay. We are now at 1.5 nautical miles. Okay, now I'm gonna just turn left a little bit so I don't lose my radial. Okay. So once again, I'm proceeding direct to the station. It's gonna be holding on radial 030. So I'm basically going to maintain 360, which is 30 degrees displaced with radial, and after 1 minute I'm going to turn right. Okay, nav, pause. So now I am over at the station. What do I do now? Now I am going to lunch time. Okay, and what phase am I gonna be right now? Imagine that, remember we were going towards the station, and now we are over at the station. Okay. Oh, sorry, I am over at the station here. Okay, I'm here over at the station. So I'm going to maintain 360. I'm going to lunch time now and maintain 360. And in 1 minute, I'm going to turn right to intercept radial 030 inbound. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one out of pause, and I am going, okay, nav flag, it's already out, so I'm going to start my chronometer here. Okay, now I'll need to wait for 1 minute. Just maintaining 360. Okay guys, so now 1 minute has passed, and I'm gonna turn right to intercept radial 030 inbound. Okay, so I'm gonna turn towards the right, standard turn, and I'm gonna select the radial of the holding, which is radial 030, course 210, and I'm gonna intercept it inbound. Let me do pause and show you. Now I am at, so I passed the station, I waited 1 minute on 360, and now after 1 minute I'm going to turn right towards the radial 030 to intercept radial 030 inbound, course 210. So now we are at this phase, okay, we are turning right to intercept radial 030 inbound. I'm going to take it out of pause. This is it. Okay, CDI alive. Okay, I'm gonna hold here for a minute so I don't undershoot it. Now I'm gonna turn again. Okay, now I am at radial 030 going towards the VOR for the holding. Okay, I'm paused now. I'm gonna do another situational interpretation. So VOR here, okay, I'm over here proceeding towards the VOR, and now what do I need to do? Basically now all I need to do is just the holding. Okay, I'm following the radial. When I hit the cone of silence, I'm going to turn right, track 030. When I'm abeam or wings leveled, I'm going to launch time, keep going, and after 1 minute I'm going to turn right to intercept this radial all over again. Okay guys, let's do this. Okay, I took it out of pause. So now my next step, it's gonna be pass overhead the station, and after passing overhead the station I'm gonna turn right for track 030, and basically at the end of this right turn for 030 I'll need to wait, pass a beam station, and then launch time. Now, how do I know that I'm gonna be a beam the station? Because of the to and from flag. When it passes from to from, I'm gonna be a beam station. I'm gonna show you. So now I'm over the VOR, so I'm gonna wait until I get out of the cone of silence. So now I'm gonna turn right toward track 030. I'm gonna put my heading bug there. My course selector is always going to be on the radial of the holding and on the course of the inbound holding radial. Why? Because this is my reference towards the holding, and I only have one radial that I am well, the radial inbound, it's the only reference that I have in the holding. And when I'm at that radial, my course, it's always going to be 210. So this course, it's never going to be up and down like between 210 and 030. And I'm telling you this because a lot of students prefer to put it on 030 when they are at the outbound, but well, I don't do that. See, to, from, which means I'm a beam, and I'm gonna launch time. Okay, sorry by my computer lateness. Sorry to be slow on the computer. So, in what stage are we right now? Let's pause this. So now, let's go to this snipping tool, and right now, the VOR is here. Okay, the holding is something like this. Like this. And we passed over at the station, we turned right, and now we are here. We just passed a beam station, we launched time. Now in 1 minute, we'll be at the end of the outbound, and we're gonna turn right to intercept the holding radial once again. I'm gonna take it out of pause, and of course time kept running. Ah no, it stopped. Nice. The time stopped when I hit the pause button, which is cool. Let me test it to see if it's true or not. Pause. Yeah, it pauses. Nice. Guys, big shout out to Luigi who did this fantastic simulator. It's really good. If you want to use it, it's completely free, and it runs on iOS, I think. You can run on your iPhone, computer, on your if you have an Apple computer, I don't know, a Mac. Is that the name? Yeah. So it's nice. Okay, we already hit 1 minute, so we're gonna turn right. Turn right to intercept radial 030 inbound. I hope that you're not lost in the hole. That's why I always stop and take a snip of the HSI to show you spatially where we are. But if you need, if you'd like me to do it other way, for you to stay spatially aware throughout the whole procedure, tell me. And if you have another way of interpreting the HSI that it's better for you, you can tell it. You can write me in the comments or something, so I can explain in different ways. Whatever is best for you. The only goal is that you learn this faster and easier, and in a more fun way, if possible. All right. So, well, now we are in the holding radial, okay, and well, basically now it's just more of the same. So let's put pause, and well, now you know how to do the holding pattern, you know how to do the offset entry. So now let's see another entry procedure. Okay, so we are on radial 030. Let's say that I want to do a non-standard or a left turn holding pattern. Okay, I'm gonna need a snip of this. Okay, once again, left hand, use it over the with the index finger over the course selector, and what's gonna happen is that you're gonna quickly know that your sectors are like this. So offset here, parallel here, and direct on this side. Okay, and now we're gonna do a non-standard holding on radial 270. Okay, so first step, okay, non-standard on radial 270. Non-standard, I'm going to use left hand. I put my hand over the chord selector with the index finger. I have my sectors, and since radial is on parallel sector, it's going to be a parallel entry. So step number 1, it's done. Step number 2, visualize everything. So I don't know if this color is good. So the instrument, it's on the center. The VOR, it's on the center of the instrument. I'm an aircraft that comes from radial 030, and what I want, it's holding on radial 270. So let's draw our hold. We follow radial 270, and when we hit the station, we're gonna turn left to track 270, and after 1 minute we're gonna turn left again to intercept radial 270, course 090. Okay, so now it makes sense why it's parallel. Why? Because I'm going towards the station, and when reaching the station, I'm gonna turn right. I'm gonna launch time, sorry, and I'm gonna turn right towards 270, track, not radial, track. I'm gonna turn right for track 270, and after 1 minute, I'm gonna turn right, and I am going to choose between intercepting the radial inbound or proceeding direct to the station. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna intercept the radial inbound and go direct to the station. Okay, guys? Once again, we are following on radial 030. They told us non-standard holding on radial 270. So we did the hand trick. We quickly discovered that it was parallel entry. And so we reach the VOR, launch time, turn right towards track 270, and after 1 minute we turn right again to intercept radial 270 inbound to the station, and then it's just a proper hold, okay, a non-standard hold.